Well, what's up, the internet? We're going to talk about naming rules, and we've practiced rules 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to show them again. Here's what you should do, and the kids that were present in school have already done this. You should take yourself and cut yourself out or find an index card, and on the front of that index card, you should draw an outline of the periodic table. Okay? And then you should put the 3 naming rules on it. All right? The first rules, the simplest ones, are if the first atom comes from over here or is from group 3 here, these 3, and it actually includes, now I know this is new to some of you if you haven't been in class, but these guys right here, we know their oxidation numbers. This is +1. This is +2. And then we have a +3 group right here. So we really know aluminum. Boron can actually go either way, but we're not that worried about it, all right? But aluminum is always +3. Now here's new information for you. Gallium is always +3. And you would think that because they're in this group that says +3 oxidation, right? But here's new information for you. Zinc is always +2. Just zinc is always +2. And silver is always +1. You're like, oh, how am I supposed to remember all this stuff? Well, it's easy. 1, 2, 3. 1 + 1 + 2 + 3. So these guys aren't really considered transition metals when we're naming. So they also fall in group 1. I mean, naming rule 1. So all these guys and these guys right here, aluminum, gallium, zinc, silver, they are all naming rule 1. Okay? So naming rule 1, you cross the stairs from one of these rows, okay? Naming rule 1, rule number 1, and you would write this on the back. Rule number 1 is just add "-ide" or say the polyatomic ion. Here's what I mean. NaCl. Na is over here, so it's rule 1. Sodium chloride. Or if it's NaClO3, you look up ClO3, that's chlorate, and you just say sodium chlorate. So number 1 is just say it. There's nothing to do. Number 1, just say it. Whatever you see there, just say it. Rule number 2 means you come from the middle. And on the back of this card, you'd write rule number 2 is I need to use a Roman numeral for the charge. So for example, if we had like, how about here's molybdenum. If we have molybdenum and chlorine, okay, so MoCl, then we have to use a Roman numeral. Molybdenum, we don't know its charge because it's from the transition metals. But chlorine, we do know is a -1. So that means this molybdenum had to be +1. So this would be called molybdenum 1 chloride. So rule number 2 is that you have to use these little Roman numerals to tell us what the charge is, okay? It's very simple. If it's not from these guys, then you have to, if it's from here, then you have to use a Roman numeral, okay? Not rocket surgery. Rule number 3 means all of the atoms in your formula come from the right side of the stairs. And rule number 3 that you should write on the back of this card is use prefixes. And we know that those prefixes are mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa. And you know most of these already just from living your life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's say we had CO. CO, that's going to be rule number 3. Use the prefixes. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Now you may have noticed I didn't say mono for the carbon. And a simple rule that you have to remember for rule number 3 is you don't say mono first. That's it. That's the entire rule number 3. What about this one? Si2, I'm making this up, H4. That will be called di for 2, disilicon. Then 4 is tetrahydride. Now this is all a review. If you've been in my class and if you're assigned this by some other teacher, I think we're being very clear. Rule 1, Rule 2 from the middle, Rule 3 all from the right. So here's what, I'm going to ask you some questions, all right? Now, first thing you would write is rule. So now we're going to make this thing like a little quiz. So I would mark these out right here on my table. These are my rule number 1s, okay? Rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3, all right? So let's go down here and let's do these first 5 just for the heck of it. Rule, number 1, what rule is it? It's carbon and oxygen. So they both come right here. It's rule number 3. Rule number 2, sodium and bromine. What rule is that? Okay, sodium's from over here, bromine's from over here. That's going to be rule number 1. Number 3, chromium and phosphate. What rule number would that be? Yep, chromium's right here. So it's going to be rule number 2. Number 4, lithium and oxygen. Lithium's from right here. Going to be rule number 1. Number 5, magnesium or bromine. What rule would that be? Magnesium's over here, across the stairs. Rule's number 1. Okay, I think you got it. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to point at this sheet, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and then you are going to answer them on your own. Do not Google the answers. We're just seeing how much you know right now, okay? So don't Google it. Don't freak out. All right. Give me the name of number 10. Give me the name of number 10. Okay? That's rule number 3, and that's sulfur dioxide. Okay? Give me the name of number 16. Okay, that's rule number 1. And that's sodium. And then you just say the NO3. You just say it. Sodium nitrate. You don't have to do any work. All right, give me the name of rule number 20. Of problem number 20. Okay, that's rule number 2. And that's copper 3 fluoride. Now, many of you are asking how to do these, and we've covered it in the past, but I want to just do it because I know what kids typically miss. CuF3. So CuF3. We don't know the charge of this, but we do know the charge of the fluorine. So we just draw cards like we're playing our card game. Every F card has a -1 charge. We know that. We know the oxidation of F. And how many copper cards are here? That's right, there's only 1. So if it's -1, -1, -1, then that copper had to be a +3. And that's how we get the name copper 3 fluoride. There's your quick review. All right, give me the name of number 23. All right, that's rule number 1. Magnesium fluoride. All right, now we're going to flip over. All right, write the formula for number 6. That's right, carbon monoxide, CO. Write the formula for number 9. That's right, Ni, and since that's +2, then it will work perfectly with the sulfite because sulfite is SO3 negative 2. So just NiSO3. If you don't remember, you know that nickel's plus 2 because it says that. You look up sulfite, sulfite's SO3 negative 2, so boom, just NiSO3, it's canceled out. All right, give me the formula for number 12. Okay, N2, S5. All right, give me the formula for number 19. All right, Li3N. Last one, give me the formula for number 24. Potassium dichromate. Okay, dichromate. You know, again, just like we did with the nitrate, etc. When we see something like that, we look it up. Here's dichromate, Cr2O7 with a negative 2 charge. So we write that down. Cr2O7 with a negative 2 charge. Now, that's dichromate. Potassium is a K with a plus 1 charge. So it's going to take 2 of those bad boys, right? So what's that formula? Yep. K2Cr2O7. Now you feel like a genius. Peace out. You got that test, you should know how to do it.